Associate Professor T.S. Dr. Nur Azman Kassan. Before the lecture begins, allow me to introduce our speaker. Associate Professor T.S. Dr. Nur Azman Kassan is a head of Green Farming Technology Unit in Aquatrop. His main expertise is in environmental science and specialization in environmental technology. His main interest is in the field of biotechnology using beneficial microbes to maintain ecological balance in both marine and freshwater aquaculture system. Currently, he actively collaborated with industry such as Zayadal Aquaculture Sdn Bhd, Ihsan Aquaculture Sdn Bhd, and many more. He also received a lot of recognition from national and international, such as Anugerah Pemindahan Teknologi 2019, Gold Award in Seoul International Invention Fair 2017, and many more. As requested by our speaker today, you can ask in the middle of his lecture if you don't understand by unmute your speaker or your computer. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Associate Professor T.S. Dr. Nur Azman Kassan to deliver the lecture. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning to our all postgraduate students. And I noted that we have also participants from overseas, so maybe our time is a bit different. All right, so Iber, so welcome to this talks. And by the way, thank you, Mrs. Chairperson, Madam Amira, for giving me some introduction. So by the way, my intention today is not giving lectures, but I hope that we can make this session more on a sharing session. I would be happy on that part because I know that this postgraduate you have read a lot of manuscript, a lot of papers, right? So I'm not trying to give you a lectures. I'm happy to have a sharing session. So by the way, as a guideline, I do prepare a slide that might be lead to our discussion today. So first of all, I would like to introduce how important the literature review in our research or project, right? So talking about the literature, so there are three things that we need to think about in our mind. First of all, when we enroll for our postgraduate, either masters or PhD or whatever, or PhD, right? So the first come to across in our mind, we need to know that what does the literature show us, all right? We cannot do anything without reading and reviewing the literature, all right? So, and of course, first of all, we need to link or to connect the ideas between ours and the literature. And after that, it's not just only downloading the literature, but we need to read them, all right? Depending, we don't have to read everything towards the literature. First of all, we need to see the title, of course, right? So which will basically connected to our research area. And later, if the papers or journals citations in connection with our literature, so that we can download and read more based on the abstract and so on. All right, next please. All right, and of course, what it is, all right? Most of us know that the literature review chapters will be on the second chapters. The first chapter will be introduction, right? So the first chapter introduction, and then introduction including the consists of objective, significance, and so on. All right. So we are not going to discuss on the first chapter, but most likely today we will discuss in more or less 1 hour talking about the literature review. So basically in our thesis, we will write this part, all right? I know that this chapter might be long or short. It's depend on our topics, all right? So because this literature review, we need to put in the second chapter, all right? So what the literature review all about? So please note that this literature review is not a linear or no magazines wise communication. It is a scholarly communication. When we talk about when we talk or deal with scholarly communication, it must be related to scientific study. All right, it's not like we read a newspaper, we read just a Facebook, Instagram, and so on. It's not on that part. All right, so this is basically on the scholarly communication. Must be published record in must be published record. So normally in terms of journals paper, in terms of books, somehow in terms of reports. All right, so normally on that part. And somehow this citation or literature is a big challenge to read, and somehow it is difficult to understand, because if there is beyond our topics or our area, is a bit hard to us to understand firstly. But if that literature is important and we need to use that literature in our research project, by hook or by crook, we need to understand and digest that important literature. All right. And then last but not least, it is indexed, searchable, and also searchable research databases. All right. What is not? What is not covered in the as a literature review? All right. So literature review is not as common knowledge. As I said just now, we can use the Wikipedia as a general terms, the general knowledge. Okay, so let's say if you want to know what is bioflok, somehow people are saying that, okay, that is the first time I heard about bioflok. Okay, maybe you can search directly to literature, all right? But somehow it's hard to understand what is bioflok still. All right, so what we can do is we just Google and find out what is the terms all about. All right, so the general, but we cannot use Wikipedia as our main sources. Okay, that is the first thing. Also, so don't use literature as a common knowledge. And easy to find. All right, we do have a Google's just text whatever we want to know. All right, we can use, but we cannot use that as a main sources available freely online. Okay, as I said just now, we cannot use Facebook as our main source. All right, we know that COVID something pandemic COVID. So nowadays, of course, Facebook is the main is the most current or updated. Okay, how many cases today? So Facebook is the first one, but we cannot use that info to be put in our literature as a main. All right, there must be papers or journal that been published online. All right, so maybe somehow recently we just in Aquatrop we have published the effects of aquaculture during pandemics. All right, in aquaculture report. So that's somehow that we can use. All right. So my suggestion is normally we can use all those social media firstly, or whatever common website to get some or general terms or general knowledge that we don't know. After that, we need to use really scientific literature or papers that can be used for in our literature review. Okay, next me. Okay, now we come into what is literature review. All right, so this is basically what we're gonna use, what we're gonna put in our thesis or a manuscript. All right, so a literature review, so that we come out from two different terms, literature and review. All right, so literature review is an evaluation of report, information and so on. So what I'm going to share with you today is a review first. Okay, the review of that literature. Okay, literature is related to your selected area of study. So meaning that when we download papers, manuscript, and so on, there is a literature, right? And we need to review that literature. Okay, meaning that the review should describe. Okay, we need to the literature review need to describe, summarize, evaluate, and clarify the literature. It's not a copy paste from that literature, but we need to describe, summarize, evaluate, and clarify that literature to be get into contact with our scope of study. So it should give a theoretical basis. All right, because normally when others found different things, so that we can use that uh, that finding to be used in our research or or vice versa. All right, somehow we may once we conducted our research, we may found different findings from the literature. All right, don't worry, because research is we are doing meaning that repetition, right? So research, we do a researching. All right, so meaning that somehow we can obtain different results from the others, but we need the important thing, we need to justify or give a reason why we get that why we get that result. Maybe different region, different solution, different whatever. Right, so that is the important of that literature review, to get some idea and what happened to our design of experiment and so on. Okay, next me. Okay, so in specific or specifically, so literature review will discuss or highlight both the strength and weaknesses of existing research. This is will lead to the gaps of study. All right, without literature reviewing a literature, we cannot find the strength and weaknesses, the scope of our study. All right, because somehow we just run the experiment without knowing the strength and weaknesses. They are the research that we conducted is still available, is still booming, still valid today. So we need to know that about that, because we cannot seems like doing the research according to our own intention, or in Malaysia we call it short sendiri lah. Alright, so we cannot do that, because somehow we must follow, or we must know that the current situation. Alright, so if let's say I know that today, if we come out with a proposal doing something on the pandemic COVID, okay, let's say anybody here interested to or intend to find out the vaccine for COVID, I think there is the most interesting topics of today, because nobody know that up to that. I mean, people around the world are looking for that vaccine and so on. So we need to find out the common, or the most common and interesting topic up to date, not beyond or outdated literature review. So if you Google it, maybe in disease, all right. So let's say you are doing disease on different topics like whatever, AIDS maybe, AIDS, huh? So it was 20 years back, it was 30 years back. Okay, I'm not saying that it's not important, but if you proposing that nowadays, maybe evaluator or readers are not so interested to read, to or to do that kind of study, because we need to select the important, or the boom, or the highlight common scenario of the day. All right, so the first, we need to identify and characterize the strengths and weaknesses of the existing research or common research nowadays. And secondly, allows you to gain critical understanding. This is very important, because somehow we are not, as I said just in earlier of my discussion just now, this literature review is not just layman. all right? It's not just only a common, ordinary searching. We need to critically understand what is the scientific proposed a project that discussed in that literature. Okay, how many, what is the methodology, what is the hypothesis, and so on. And most of the main program will be, we want to know the methodology that we use, all right? So that is it valid or not, all right? And then somehow the finding from that. Okay, so we not just use or read the literature, like ordinary searching. All right, so we need to critical and understand the study in your field especially. All right, and then when we read that that literature critically, we need to jot down what is the important. All right, maybe we want to find the similarities, the patterns, trends, and also the difference. That is very important, because when we read a papers, when we read a literature, we need to see all those patterns, trends, and also not to mention that we need to also find the difference between ours and also the papers, the literature review. All right, because the as I said just now, maybe the finding or the results might be different from the literature that we cited, open our experiment later on. All right, and last but not least, the gaps between literature is the justification for your research. All right, so we cannot duplicate or replicate exactly the same project that people have done. All right, what we can do is modify. I'm not saying we will be next Einstein one day, no, but in a scholar's point of view, or in terms of postgraduate point of view, we need to have our own scholarly. That's why masters or PhD have their own scholar in bahasa we call it as kesarjanaan. All right, meaning that we need to have our own scholars. All right, we as I always suggest or recommend to my students, all right, you cannot duplicate me, because if you are me, so meaning that I'm not doing my job as a supervisor. You must have your own scholars, or your own project, and so on. Right? I do hope that this might can be used and applicable to all. Right? Because I know that I hope I'm not sure this is from Aquatrop or at different faculties in UMT, but I do hope that we can apply this some tips in your research. All right, next me. Najmi. All right. So there is a common, or what is all about the literature. So what makes the literature review a good literature, right? There are, this is I just list a 6, but you may have more. But the first one is must be focus. All right, focus. You know the scope or the keyword of your study, right? So depending on your field of study, you need to focus. All right, when you search or type using the browse, all right, please use a keyword. All right, if let's say you are doing I'm not sure, you know, all right, so please be focused when you're searching for the literature. All right, you must know the keyword of your study. All right, so dependings. All right, so it possible for any question, or maybe I open for any question in the middle of my discussion. So you may ask me directly, if and just turning on your microphone. Otherwise, I can continue. How about the moderator? Do you need a break?
Oh, no. We can proceed.
We can proceed.
If the participant have a question, they can just unmute their
All right.
laptop.
Okay, thank you. So I think we have done now one part of the literature. I do hope that we can cover, we can know what is all about literature. I'm not saying that the other chapters is not important, but normally a conventional thesis will cover 4 or 5 chapters, right? The first chapter will be introduction. So the first chapter. Second chapter will be literature review. The third chapter will be methodology. The fourth chapter might be results, or somehow other people will our other students will combine with a result and discussion. Last but not least, the conclusion. All right, I'm not saying the other chapter is not important, but in order for you to get to produce a good thesis, as I said just now, you must read a good or produce a good literature review. All right, because that is the first or uh, topics that we are. If you are not doing the literature, we are not getting any scientific basis or background on the topics on the project that we are going to do. All right, the first normally in the first semester, or for a new fresh a new enrolled student might focus on the literature review. So I still remember when I firstly enrolled for my PhD about 9 to 10 years back. My supervisor always asked me like this. Okay, so he give me a task to Azman. Please do read at least one papers or one good journal every day. Every day. So just imagine, we have 365 days a year, right? So in order for us to complete our PhD, we need to times 3 years, right? So more or less about 1,000 days, right? So if I follow the suggestion by my supervisor, I I I have read about thousands of literature during my candidature. All right, so please, I do hope that this is one of the tips that might be used, can be used for you all. So try to have to make arrangement at least to read at least. I say at least you can read more. All right, you can read more than this, but at least you just imagine if you read one papers a day times 300 and 365 days, so at least a year you will read about 300 more than 300 papers or literatures a year. So there is no reason that saying that you are not doing this, right? Because but the thing is, you need to be specified and always think that you need to read, and read. So first of all, again, back to the good literature review, must be focused. All right. First, you need to identify the keywords of your related project. All right, depending on your discussion with your supervisor. All right, this your supervisor, or maybe supervisor ask you to propose your own proposal or your own topics and so on, but you must be focused. You know what you are going to do. All right, please be focused, concise, must be accurately as possible. All right, not just only very superficial literature. All right, so very unnoticeable. All right, so still ambiguous, uncertain. So must be focused and concise. All right, concise, must be consistent, and also important to develop logical flow. All right, this is somehow important, and some student, me myself, on the first reading and also drafting my literature, we cannot find the logical and development, the flow or sequence of the literature review. So what we can do is basically outline the topics or on the that chapter. Let's say on the literature review. So what 2.1, what we are going to write, and then under the subheading subheading below the 2.1 subsection, and so on so on. So the first one, we need to have some outline on what we are going to write for that literature review section or chapters, right? So that we must have and after that we can develop. All right, don't leave the story half. All right, you assume we assuming that the readers or the supervisors or the examiners will know the other half. No, we need to complete the story. All right, unless been mentioned in that literature saying that, okay, in order for us to understand, to examine or to measure the water quality following standard method, this and this and this. Okay, we just stated or cite that citation. Okay, there's people will know that. All right, you don't have to you don't have to expose everything, right? Depending on the sentence or statement that you make, that make the sentence, the statement logical and complete, all right? And integrative, so if possible somehow you can develop your write up based on one paper, right? But somehow we can combine or merge more than one literature, some like this. For example, we know that in my area, like bioflora is consists of bacteria and so on so on. But okay, bacteria is bioflora is accumulations of bacteria, microalgae, whatever, right? So who say that? So maybe Afnimalish, Hagraf, Crab, and so on. So we need to cite every single person or authors that showing or stating the same meaning of that bioflora. All right, so we can use so the more the citation that you refer, or the more the citation that people are doing, so and following a consistent meaning, so that showing that, okay, this term is correct way uh, is the correct way to cite the literature. And last but not least, again, as I said just now, we must choose, if possible, we must choose a current topic, a common, a current topic, which hot topic today's, so that this focus will be acknowledged and be cited and be reviewed by different examiners. All right, so become a cutting edge of your topics. All right, if possible, don't replicate. Don't replicate what people are doing very outdated last time, so all right. All right, so I think we may move to the next slide. Me? Okay. So this is some common mistake that been done. Okay, common mistake that been done by most of us. But I'm not saying every student doing this, because we are me myself, for example, we are not the first speaker, English speaker, right? So somehow our English is not too good, all right? And then somehow we need to practice, make it perfect. All right. So what we can do is try to do or to write our literature review bit by bit. All right. So meaning that review is not a logically organized. All right. So this is somehow mistake. So there is not organized literature review. Okay. Please don't mix other ideas or content in one sentence. For example, somehow we want even that we have read a lot of things, and then we pull everything in one sentence. The other things that we need to consider is make the sentence understandable, easy to understand, simplify, and not is not logically organized. All right, so this is one thing. The second one is not focused, so it's contrary to the first one. So not focused, and the review does not relate to literature review or the study, right? Too few references or the most common one is outdated. All right, so I always recommend or suggest to the student, all right, please use the most common or the most current literature review or papers. Okay, now we are in 2020, so I think from if you ask me, what is the updated reference? All right, so if we go back to 1980s, 1970s, even below than 2000, I think there is more or less an outdated references because we are evolving, right? So somehow, so we unless the methodology that been used was firstly introduced in last back that years, right? So we need to use an updated references. I would suggest, if you ask me, please use literature review or citation on 2010 and above. People are not or examiner are not query about your understanding about your literature. All right, your supervisor feeling very good when, okay, this is most common or most recent citation that you are using, right? In contrast, when you think about 1990, right? So it was 40 years, 30 years back, all right? So it's on somehow it's not no longer valid for nowadays problems, all right? This is the thing that we need to consider, all right? The fifth one will be also important, which is review is not written by author's own words, so-called plagiarisms, or somehow it's not modification. You use that literature's or authors of that journal's words. Please use your own words. So we are rephrasing, or somehow we are using that finding from the papers and to be our literature review. Okay, so don't copy and paste unless stated, and somehow we can use a double comma, right? So that to show that introduction or somehow, right? So please use your own words. So to avoid the plagiarisms. All right, and the next one will be review readings, like a series of disjoint summaries, no joining, no sequence. The unsmooth, your flow of your literature review is not smooth as we are planning. All right, so what I'm suggesting is, please craft or develop firstly the outline for your literature review. Okay, what is 2.1 will take place, and then second 2.2, 2.3, and so on. And then you can develop your literature review in and arrange your literature review wisely. And review doesn't argue a point, meaning that somehow don't blame or don't. I'm not suggesting that you need to blame or uh, to blame the literature. I mean, like, okay, this person doing this the wrong discussion, wrong methodology. All right, so please don't do that, because somehow, if because for your information, normally all papers are being reviewed by a scientific reviewer. All right, so if we are beginner, as a beginner, arguing the point being made by the respective literature, meaning that somehow we are not pleased the literature the authors, right? So what we can do is we take the good point from that literature. If you are not agree with the finding, or with the reasons of that authors, we can use that somehow in the in our write up. We can use in contra with Azman 2020. So that we can do for our literature. All right. So recent reference are omitted. So I just told you just now. Please use most recent updated literature. All right. Next me. All right. So maybe if I think I have discussed about first half of the part. I open for any question if any. I leave to moderator to have a question session maybe.
Assalamualaikum, Doctor. Muhammad Asmatullah.
Asman, okay, Asman, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah.
Okay, Asman.
Okay. So usually for the fundamental research, suppose
Yeah.
the hormone research on hormone is actually before 2000.
Before.
Yeah, when we found something, actually the fundamental one, suppose the action of the hormone or something like that.
Okay.
Actually, the researchers they review. They told before I found most of them before 2000.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
if I use that, it can be considered as a updated literature review or like that. And please, if you have option, please clarify about the problem statement with and the literature review. What's the connection or the difference or something like that?
Okay. Okay, thank you, Asman.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Asman. For the first questions, the updated or the what we call updated. So avoid the outdated reference. Huh? Okay, as I said just now, of course, in a general, more general or fundamental study, we need to have we need to include recent citations or journal. But at some point, we cannot avoid use we cannot avoid to use an old references. For example, if you are going to use or if you are going to analyze lipids or proximate analysis, for example, right? So everybody know proximate analysis. All right, and somehow now most study nowadays even they will still cited back on the first authors or on the first methodology that being used, right? So that one is still acceptable, Asmat. Don't worry. All right, because that is the first or the what we call the main reference that we use. But somehow, what I'm trying to say is don't use more frequent the and outdated meaning that not recent studies. All right. So yes, Asmat, you can use an old citation or old references depending on the topic that you are going to use. All right. So normally we use an all citation as regards to the main what we call like the main topics like okay, who find the who names the microbiome Rosenberg, right? So demand 18 something. So that 18 something is of course that demand was the first authors that find that species. So we cannot avoid that. As regard to your question, Asmat, for your hormone studies, so if you cannot find and that citation below than 2000, meaning that still valid to be used, then please use. But what I'm trying to say is try to avoid even when you discuss something new as regard to your finding, please use most current citation. Am I answering your question, Asma, before I'm answering the second one?
Yeah, of course, sure.
Okay, thank you, Asman. All right. As regard to the second question of us from Asmat, what is the difference between problem statement and also literature review, right? Okay. So normally problem statement we will write it on the first chapter, all right, after the introduction, and then problem statement, right? And then we have somehow we have a justification, or somehow we have a objective and scope of study, right? So that's it. So what come into Asmat mind is what is the difference between problem statement and also literature review. Okay, so the first chapter, problem statement. Okay, a statement of the problem. So again, statement of the problem. So in the literature on the second chapter, it will cover the whole thesis or the whole project of yours. All right, as compared to problem statement, okay, you do have objective, right? Objective 1, 2, and 3. All right. So, depending as regard to that one objective, you basically must have their own problem statement. All right. So let's say the first one, maybe as I just give you an example. The first one is identifications of microbial from bioflora. All right. So what is the problem statement of that projective? All right. So maybe people are not research have not yet been done anywhere in the world regarding the on the first objective. So that is the first problem statement. So that's why you are doing that. The second one, after you identify, you want to characterize. Why you have to characterize the objective, right? The bacteria somehow. So you must specifically stated the problem, the statement of the problem of the respective objective. So what I'm trying to say is for the problem segment, we need to very specific as related to your objective. I hope that I answer your question, Asmat.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Asmat. Any more question?
Gentlemen, we
Yes.
have
Hello. Hello. Hello.
All right.
Hello.
Hello. Is
Good
it
morning,
Iber?
Prof.
Benedict. All right.
Yes.
Nice to
Yes,
meet
Prof.
you.
Yes, Prof.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Prof.
All
Thank you,
right.
Prof. Yeah,
Please.
I have two questions. I have two questions.
Okay, man. Please.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Hello.
hear you. Okay, Benedict.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. My question is on literature citation.
Okay.
Yeah. First, supposing I download a journal which I intend to use for my literature review, a 2019 journal, and then I find references of say 2014,
Okay.
which I find interesting. So in that kind of paper, is it the 2019 I am going to cite, or the 2014 which has been cited in that paper? I don't know if you get the question.
Okay. Can I answer that first, Iber? Benedict?
There are two questions anyway.
Oh, okay. Please. Please, another
Uh,
question.
okay. Now, my second question is, if I find a statement in a journal, and then I see two references, for instance, the first reference is eBay 2015, and then Benedict 2020.
Okay.
Then I begin to wonder, why is it necessary? Why not just pick the most recent there, which is 2020? Why are there two? And sometimes you even find more, up to three. 2020, somebody else, 2020, 2014, or on the same statement. So I begin to wonder, why not just pick the most recent, and then it serves for all? Why are there more? Why are there many there?
Okay. Okay. Ben, is it okay? Can I answer?
Yes, yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but according to your question, if we have two two version or two literature review. The first one more outdated, which is on 19 something, so 1990, and the second one will be 2019. All right.
Yes.
Can we use both? Something like that?
Yeah, you find them quoted in the same
Quoted.
material on the same statement.
All right. Okay. My suggestion is depending. We are now in 2020. People are if I'm a reviewer of some manuscript, I want to I want to look into the scientific background of the authors. Somehow, okay, are you referring to the most recent topics or not? As I said just now, if that citation from 1990 is still available and not available, is still valid and can be used, and nobody arguing that, and that 1990 is very important to be put in our literature or in our manuscript, then I will still accept that. We can still accept that. But if there is in our literature, we always stated the first sentence 1990, the second sentence 1982, and then the next subsection is still 19 something. So most of the chapters, most of the literature review chapters, you are referring to 1990s citation, showing that your knowledge or your citation is not up to date. But if you mix somehow, okay, among that 100 words or hundreds sentences, you are just referring only one. Okay, because showing that, oh, why if I am a examiner, okay, why you are using this 1990s citation? Okay, I will refer back. I will try to Google it. Okay, so this is very important. So that's why Benedict referred to these topics. So that is my suggestion. You may include, but not too much on the late or outdated version. But if that version is very important, then please put. Okay, Ben?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is my suggestion. But maybe because normally when I have received when I have received a thesis or manuscript that to be reviewed, somehow when I see the authors referring to all version or all citation, I'm feeling that I'm not interested no more to read more on the topics, showing that and there is lack or no more recent citation. All right. I hope that I answer your question, Benedict. And as regard to your second question, uh, uh, more than 2 or 3 citation, right? All right.
Yes.
So which one? Which
that's
one you want to cite, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So normally, like here, I give you some example. Okay. We cannot cite a secondary citation. For example, you read my papers. Okay. Benedict read my papers. Okay. So you have to cite mine. Okay. Kasan 2020. But if you found out that in my paper, I cited somebody else, like say I cite Benedict, I cite you, right? Previously, you cannot use that papers. My citation, my words in my papers to be yours. You need to download the Benedict papers, because the Benedict papers is the secondary papers if you use that citation. All right. Okay. So we must use a primary citation. Primary meaning that the first the authors of the paper that you downloaded and you read it. All right. And then don't use. You can use the secondary you can use the secondary citation by uploading the original version. All right. You have to download Benedict's papers, not mine, and you may combine. Is that am I truly correctly cite the Benedict papers or not? You can use that. All right, Benedict. So am I clearly answer your question?
Clearly, that's understood.
Okay,
Thank you
thank you.
very much, bro. Thank you very much, bro.
No worries, no worries. All right, Amira, moderator. I think we do still have something to discuss. I'm not sure because I'm happy to share with you s- uh, I think we just only covered half of the whole session, but I'm very happy to have you in the more on the discussion. Okay, so I'm not sure the secretary allow us to have more time, or maybe we can have the next session or whatever. So please, Amira.
Okay, you can just proceed.
Proceed.
Proceed the lecture.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
We have question in chat box. You want to proceed or you want to answer the question?
In the chat box, let me see first.
Uh-uh.
Chat box. What was this question, Mira?
From Mr. David. There are different approaches to review. Is there any review of reviews to help us define which approach will deliver most value to our research?
There are different approach to review. Is there any review of reviews to help us define which approach will deliver most value to our research? All right. Thank you, David. I hope you are doing well, David. By the way, thank you, David, for your question. So this is back to as far as I'm concerned, there is no singles approach on how we can produce the best reviews, the literature review, because the capability of us are different. Maybe among the our native speaker is much more easier as compared to us, the secondary speakers. All right, but I believe on one's phrases that practice make perfect. All right, don't overestimate, don't but somehow don't overconfident that we are producing the best literature review among others. All right, what I'm trying to say is practice make perfect. All right, please consult with your supervisor regularly. All right, because the first evaluator of your thesis will be your supervisor, and the validator for your project are also your supervisor. So please do get in touch, keep in touch with your supervisor regularly. So what I'm suggesting is that we firstly we must understand the whole overview of the general topics of our study. Later on, when we quite familiar with our skill of writing, and somehow our supervisors or our friends, there is one more topics, one tips that can I share. Somehow before we send our manuscript or our draft to our supervisor, maybe we can share to get some idea, our write up with our friend. All right, with among our friend. Okay, let our friend rate our write up. So is it okay, or the flow, or the English, or somehow, and then maybe after that you can send to your supervisor to get some validation or some comments from them. So I still remember, in order for me to complete this literature review, it's not take only one time. Giving my draft to my supervisor. I think almost 10 times, and more than 10 times to get approval from my supervisor. Okay, my supervisor is a Germany. All right, even though I've done my PhD in Australia, but he originally from Germany. And yes, to get that, what I'm maybe I can share what I'm doing last 10 years back. First of all, I downloaded the most the most closest topics of my literature, and then of course I read the title, I read the abstract. Okay, if the abstract showing the good or relate to our study or project, then I will go further. All right, I will read through the introduction, the methodology of the papers, and also whatever the findings and so on. And I will keep that. I will keep that citation as the main. Okay, I will create a folder. Last time I use references to make it to make sure that this literature I will use this literature in my chapter. Later, when I read when I read the literature, so I will jot down the most important keyword or finding, not copy and paste from that literature. I will jot down right up by my handwriting. Alright, because to avoid the plagiarism, right, just put the keyword on our normally we will have a logbook, right? So that is the importance of the logbook. All right, we know, okay, the reference one. So what is the introduction? What do you, by our own word, and after that when we get everything that we need, so try to sit down in front of your laptop, in front of your PC, then based on that logbook, on that keyword that you written on that you wrote on the logbook, try use your own words to write your own literature review. Please do it regularly. I always I always suggest, because this is always suggested from my supervisor and my co-supervisor, Azman, please read, read and read, and write, write and write. All right. So just imagine. So I after that, when I have completed that chapter, I will send to the supervisor for comments. Right. So I hope that there is some tips that I can give you to David. Right. So I hope that I can answer your question. All right. So if that the case, maybe I leave this slide for a bit. I want to go to the how to develop or crafting the literature review. Najmi, can you go to crafting a literature? How to develop? Okay, so this is how to critically thinking the literature and so on. So maybe you can I can share you this slide, no problem. So maybe if you get any question, you may ask me. Next me. All right, next me. Okay, so start to think about yours. All right, next me. Okay, this one. All right. So there will be 5 steps, just a guideline for you to have for us to write a good literature review. So the first one is search for existing literature in your study of area. This is very important. All right. So search existing keyword based on the keyword. All right. I'm pretty sure. Please find the keywords that related to your study. All right. So existing literature in your area of study. Don't go beyond. You may have that beyond the study, but as your linear of your just for your readings. All right. Not to be put into your existing literature. Okay, after that, after you searching, review the literature selected. Right? Just please don't please don't just downloaded it and leave it on your side, and then not reading. All right, just leave it for a few hours. After a few hours, it will come to a few days. After a few days, it will come to a few months. Your downloaded literature will stay there for a years. Believe me, if you're not having an intention to read, then we'll not having time to read the literature. All right, so review the literature concisely. All right. So the second one, develop the theoretical framework, because we want to get idea what is the theoretical basis from that literature. And after that, we need to develop a conceptual framework. And finally, last but not least, we need to write up the literature review. I think this 5 step can be also applicable to David's question just now. Okay, me? Okay, I will go through a bit by bit on these five arrangement, right? So normally in crafting or producing a literature review, we need to go from the generals to specific order, right? Like a funnel, right? So from the general terms or from the general idea, then and we describe. Okay, for example, okay, from the broader topic to subtopic, and finally it will leading to your studies of your specific studies. All right. For example, if let's say you are doing a study on isolations of microbials, right? So you may start with the generals of studies, general idea of what is microbiology all about. Okay, then you narrow it down to what is the applicable applications of microbial in aquaculture, for example, and then you narrow down what are people doing, what are types of whatever species, whatever microbial being used for aquaculture engineering, for example. All right, and then maybe you will go to narrow it down to what are the method being done for identifications of microbial, right? So can be divided into morphology, and somehow, okay, we can divide it into molecular as well. So as far as specific as possible, maybe after that we can use that finally for determine our scope of study. So basically from broad to subtopic, and then to specific topics of yours. All right, next me. Okay, so this one, I think I can leave it. Okay, so searching, nowadays very important, very easy. Place your own devices, all right? Just sit in front of a computer and then just Google it, whichever possible. Okay, please note that. Next, me. Latest issue, right? Review the literature. So we need to reviewing the literature concisely. All right. Next, me. Develop the theoretical. So of course we need to see the theoretical. So somehow if we read the literature without notice what is inside. So as I said just now, so somehow when we download literature, all right, somehow we don't understand from the first reading, because somehow is the topic inside the inside the literature is somehow is a bit difficult and beyond, cannot imagine. So what we can do is reread the same literature if you don't understand from our first reading. Okay, all right. So let's say the methodology. After a few times, we read but not understand. Okay, so reread. After we read several times, still not understand. All right. So we may bring the literature to friends or to your supervisor for discussion. Is it correct or something? So maybe your supervisor have different thought regarding the literature review. Or that's the importance of the discussion, right? Because somehow I would say that not all studies also not all supervisor have their own capabilities to understand, right? And this is the importance of discussing the same topics within our scope of study. Okay, so next me. So the conceptual framework, so this is very important. All right, somehow the conceptual diagram are also important for developing your study, right? All right, so conceptual I will go for example. Next me. All right. So for example, I'm sorry if it is somehow if this example is not related to your study, all right, uh, but within my scope of expertise, biofloc technology. First of all, we need to develop the key concept of biofloc. For example, right, we need to know. Next me, I think there is some okay. So we need to know about the concept behind the biofloc technology. What we are going to understand. So we first of all we need to understand the biofloc technology all about. Okay, so we need the conceptual diagram like this. All right. So basically, we know that biofloc is accumulations of organic residue. We need to add carbon sources. So this carbon source for what? All right. So basically, these carbon sources before that. All right. Okay, stop here. All right. So this carbon source is ideal condition for bacteria. So what the bacteria can do? So mechanism, what types of bacteria? Right. So we need to know the whole program or the whole concept. It's not when we talk about the concept, right? So basically the concept we need to the baseline, the framework of that things. All right. So I hope that we can use this. So I would like to suggest, if you cannot find or somehow we think you think on your own, okay, you don't know, all right, please discuss and consult with your supervisor, all right, because somehow your proposed conceptual diagram might be different, might be wrong, might be right. Okay, you please get some idea and consult with your supervisor. This is the role of supervisions in terms of postgraduate studies. Okay, me. Thank you. Next me. All right. So and last but not least, nothing to do. All right. Even you read hundreds of literature. All right. Even you write up. Even you dreaming a lot of literature review without writing it up is useless. All right, because finally you will presented everything that you have done before. All right, in a chapter. All right. So what are the last step that you need to do is writing up, and writing up. All right, frequently writing up. So don't miss that. All right. So this is basically on how we write up. Okay, the contents that we might to develop. Okay. I think we can go to the last few last slide. Okay, use a citations management system. Okay. Back to my previous study, so 9 years back, right? So and not yet me. Can you go? Okay. So use a citation management system. We do have EndNote, reference, RefWorks, Zotero, Mendeley, etc. But please be careful, because please be careful and be familiar with. All right. Somehow, when we deal with this system or management system, all right. So this is we can have another series regarding to management system. So please be careful from the last output when we just click. All right. Using this management system, please double check before we submit to the to your supervisor, to the examiner, and so on. Because somehow it's the formatting of of the system is not similar to what we are supposed to do. All right. For example, lately I do found many manuscript or many citation with cited which write every single authors in the sentences or statement. All right, because strange for me, because I just found it very recently. Because let's say you want to cite my papers, Kasan, right? Kasan et al. Normally, but nowadays I do find Kasan Noor Azman Kassan, Amira, Najmi, Benedict, every single name is in that paper was cited in that paper. So I'm stuck to curious. What is there a new formatting of the reference citation? But somehow actually it was derived from the system. All right, the system doing that. So please be careful. Double check your references prior submission. All right. Always get complete citation information, article titles, journal titles, authors, volume, and so on. Right. Keep track of search notes, ideas, and fully citing sources. Avoid plagiarism. So, in order for avoiding the plagiarisms, as I said just now, okay, you need to drop down the main idea or main finding that you want to use. Okay. Next, me. Again, I think everybody knows to avoid the plagiarisms. Next, me. All right. So before I finish my talks, there is some take-home message that we can use and take note. So write as you go. Don't wait until you finish searching the literature review. So this is most common suggestion that I would like to share. From the first day you enroll or before you enroll your postgraduate study, please write as many as possible. Don't wait until you finish your searching literature review. Because if you are not writing, start beginning to write. So towards end of the years, you have nothing to show. All right. So please do write in our local common bahasa, we call it as istiqomah. All right. So we need to write and write and write. Set sometimes to write regularly. All right. So in a day, please do have to set a time 1 or 2 hours to sit down in front of your PC, your laptop to write. Right. There is a suggestion or tips from friends from our previous supervisor. So basically, if just imagine in a day we write only 1 pages of literature or not just only literature. We just write only 1 pages of manuscript or 1 page writing. All right. Just imagine if we consistently doing that in a year. Okay, we managed to produce 365 pages, right? So normally 365 pages of a manuscript is thick enough, right? So please do consistently, right? To write up. Okay, start with easier section, of course. All right, we start with easy things before we go for more difficult. So start from the lowest, or so from the general things, and then we go more further with some subsection and so on. Right? Jot down. Just note that. Jot down and ideas and keep them handy. So we please bring your logbook everywhere. All right, please bring that during your postgraduate duration session. Get feedback and don't take it too personally. If let's say your supervisor, this is not good, all right, please don't take it personally. But I think nowadays supervisor it's not like previous years. I still remember when I doing my masters last time. All right, my not mine, but a friend of mine. All right, I'm not sure what happened to his thesis. Right, he sent to his supervisor, and his supervisor just flip out. All right, and maybe he's not happy with the thesis, and suddenly, immediately, his supervisor just throw it down, throw it through the manuscript or to the dustbin. Just imagine what is our feeling. We have already wrote down everything, right? And then our supervisor just throw it into the bin immediately. So, but nowadays I note that there is no supervisor like that. Okay, so maybe there is all version. All right. Last but not least, aim for a style that is clearer, simple, and straightforward. Don't be too not direct, and difficult to be understand. Don't give a statement that is confused. All right, and then confusing to the others, right? So I think that is last for me. Next, there is, I think I wrote one last slide. Me, Najmi. Next, me. Najmi, are you around? Okay. So last but not least, as I said, for your study, okay, this is my, I hope that you can, at least if you cannot get everything from our last 1.5, quarter year hours, so please to keep in mind, keep reading and writing, right? Keep reading and writing throughout your study. And in fact, is this reading and writing not just only applicable during your postgraduate, but if you can consistently doing this, you will follow and also doing this throughout your whole lifetime. I hope that I have given you and sharing with you the some tips or some literature review things that we can share. So please keep read and writing to in order for completion of your study. With that, I thank you very much and I wishes you all best of luck. Thank you very much. Again, Mira.
Okay, thank you for the informative and interesting sharing, Dr. Azman. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we come to question and answer session. Doctor, we have 3 questions in chat box.
I thought we don't have much time.
It's okay. We have another 15 minutes more.
It's okay. It's okay.
All right.
Let's go ahead.
Okay, let me see. Okay, from Nurul Aina.
Yeah.
Is it applicable to have information from published review paper overall into thesis?
Into what? Into detail?
Into thesis.
Into thesis. Okay. Thank you, Amira.
Okay.
All right. So yes, of course. As I said just now, we do have a lot of sources. All right. In terms of literature, citation of journals, we do have different form like scientific studies based on different experimental design, and actually it's very good and advisable to use review papers to get some idea, the general ideas. Okay, so for example, if you want to start with study that not in your area first. We want to know the subtopics within our area. Okay, what we can do is downloading some review papers. What we call that? In general, we do have a few things or few classes of journal. Okay, like for example, bioflocs. For biofloc, a review of bioflocs in aquaculture system. So you are always available to read that because the authors of that reviews paper have reviewed many papers related to biofloc things. All right. So meaning that this review paper has simplified and more or less they pull out every single study being done elsewhere in the world. Okay, to be put into one single review paper. Okay, this is somehow is a good the good things that you may download and read the review paper, and of course you can use that. Giving that as I said just now, we use that primary sources. Okay, if I let's say if I produce a one review paper, Kasan et al. So please use that citation, not taking out the secondary citation. All right. So let's say in that review paper, I am the first author, I am the author, but to produce that review paper, I have referred to many of citation. So if possible, don't cite secondary. All right. If you want to cite the secondary, please download that paper from the secondary sources. I hope that answer your question, Aina. Thank you very much.
And we have last question here. From Nadira Ruzilan, do we need to read a lot of review papers to obtain a good literature review, or just the normal article journal already sufficient?
Okay. Okay. Who is that? Afika?
Nadira Ruzilan.
Nadira Razilan. Okay. Thank you, Nadira. So it all depends on you. All right. Basically, on what you are going to search. All right. Normally, review paper giving you some ideas. All right. Overview or overall ideas or general ideas. On that subtopics. All right. If you read more, that nothing to lose when you read more and more and more. Right. You will get more or gain more ideas regard to that subtopic. So it is advisable for you to read lots. All right. So that's the first thing. So as you read a review paper, just give you some ideas or generals. It is not specifically stated what is the methodology of the study as compared to the scientific some sort of specific study. All right. So as a student or as a researcher, I would say that as a researcher. All right. So you need to how many I cannot say. I cannot advise you. Okay, hundreds papers is enough. No, because up to you. If you think that 100 is not enough for you, all right, and it's not compatible with our literature, so you please download more and read more. All right. So as regard to that, reading a review papers is giving you some general ideas, but reading and doing a literature review and literature for specific a specific study, giving you more specific idea on what you are doing. And also somehow, if you find your study found that your experiment found that this amount this result, so you may found that reason or justification from that specific study. All right. So it is advisable for you to get specific study or specific reason from specific scientific papers as compared to reviewer. I hope I answer your question. Ira?
Okay, Dr. Azman. Before we end our session for today, can you share as a former postgraduate student, can you share with us as a former postgraduate student how you encourage yourself to focus on writing? Because some people lost their focus and feel demotivated when they lost their ideas on writing and stuck when they do data analysis.
Okay. So this is more or less on the personal sharing question. All right. So by the way, I have experience being a student, from undergraduate student, from master student, and after that I continue for my PhD student. All right. So that different studies given different experience. All right. I start my studies or research doing my simple job, simple research during my during my final year project. I think everybody here I have experienced doing a final year project during your undergraduate, right? Basically, I think by that time, I have done a very good studies, right? So then continue with masters. Okay, different approach, different targets, different subject, different objective, and different level. As compared, then we go to the next level to PhD level. All right. So in order for us to get some momentum, to get that momentum consistently, somehow, of course, as a Muslim, somehow we need to pray a lot. All right, every day. Don't forget about that. Because the journey is not very easy. Somehow we found some obstacles during our journey. All right, somehow we stress. Our study unsuccessful. All right, somehow like this, like nowadays, during your study, we facing a pandemic about a years. All right, we cannot we cannot do our normal experiment, right? So we can go to hatchery, we can go to labs, and we can go to sampling. But nowadays, very limited, very limited, what we got movement, right? So as a student, of course, I am a human, right? So we facing a problem, personal problem, money problem. Somehow we are facing a demotivation, right? Somehow our supervisors it's not pleasing us, right? We feeling that our write-up is useless somehow. So what we need to wake up, all right? uh, Wake up from that demotivation. What we can do is I can share with you the tips, which is we must have a close relationship with the supervisor. I think that is the most important thing during the 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 candidature. Because of what? Because if we when we first enroll our postgraduate, the first signature or the first person that we made our supervisor, and we agree upon. All right. Please don't. If a different supervisor have different approach and different characteristic, different things on. But if you can imagine during the first day of your postgraduate study candidature, up towards end of your candidature, you will go along with your supervisor. If you didn't have good connection with your supervisor, all right, meaning that everything's is not going smoothly. So not supported by your supervisor. Supervisor is missing. You are missing in action somewhere. So please get in touch with supervisor and hope if you got a good supervisor, it is a bonus for you because if your supervisor is supportive, if your supervisor is very you call knowledgeable and so on, and I think that is more and somehow when you down or somehow when you stress, you can share with your supervisor instead. So I think that is beyond your supervisor uh, responsible, but anyhow you may share to them because your supervisor cannot understand every single problems of the student. All right, so please get in touch. Get in touch with your supervisor, knowing set up your milestone when you want to achieve the first objective, second objective, the third objective, and so on. So and please do remember and please do have keep update. Please do have some progress regularly. So don't miss and don't leave your works, your project abundantly. All right. Don't throw it away. Let's say we just delete our progress and so on. All right. So do it concisely, following your milestone, your targeted Gantt chart, and so on. Right. So I do hope that everybody wants you take that challenge and finish at in the time frame. I do hope I have shared some tips for you. Thank you, Mira.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor, for the sharing. For your information, ladies and gentlemen, the record for this lecture or talk is available on Aquatrop FB, Facebook. Please like our Facebook, Aquatrop. Ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to the end part of our public lecture. I would like to say thanks again to our speaker for the informative and interesting lecture, and to our audience for the participation. Hopefully the presentation will be beneficial for everybody. If you have more questions, you can directly email Dr. Azman or our secretariat. Thank you for your attention. See you again next time.
Mira,
Yes.
before we end up, can I please I want to say sorry because I didn't cover everything in my slide. I hope that we can share we can share the slide, all right? And because as I said just now in earlier of my discussion, this is more like on more sharing session as compared to lecture based session. And I'm sorry I didn't if I cannot cover all the slide, but I am pleased to welcome you to ask me to text me or to email me, all right, as regard to respective topics. And thank you very much for your attention. And maybe we can see you again in the future. Thank you very much, Mira.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Doctor,
Yeah.
slide presentation ni can we share with the participant or
Make it a PDF first.
so make it in PDF file so we can share with the participant?
Yes, no problem.
Okay, so for the participant, if you interested to have the slide, you can drop your email or you can text the secretariat so that we can send you the copy of PDF. Thank you so
Kita dah
much.
ada email peserta Mira, nanti kita
Okay, so we will send you a copy of this lecture. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you and see you again. Bye.